If you've been following the podcast for a while, you'll know that a little while back, I announced I was talking to investors about my startup AI Box. We ended up getting such a huge influx of people talking to us that we kind of changed our strategy regarding fundraising, and we have a really exciting announcement coming soon. But if you were an investor that had previously reached out to me and jumped on a call, make sure to reach out again. I have some really exciting news to give to you, or if you're an investor today looking to invest in an absolutely groundbreaking AI startup, I'm going to leave my email, jaden@aibox.ai, in the description, and I'll give you the inside scoop. Today on the podcast, another AI startup has raised a significant amount of funding, and this is Unitary AI. They've picked up this new funding for its multimodal approach to video content moderation, and they've actually raised a staggering $15 million for this idea. So today on the podcast, we're going to be diving into what exactly Unitary AI does, what the implications of it are for the industry, and where we kind of see this going in the future. So without further ado, let's dive into it. Welcome to the world's #1 AI podcast, AI Chat. I'm your host, Jaden Schaefer. Have you ever wanted to start your own podcast? I record and publish podcasts on a platform called Spotify for Podcasters, and I absolutely love it. Essentially, you can upload from your phone or computer, and it distributes to every platform that plays podcasts. They support video podcasts, and you can make money on the platform with ads or even podcast subscriptions, something that has made my life so much easier as a podcaster. So if you're interested, I highly recommend you give it a try. You can download the Spotify for Podcast app, or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started on your podcast today. As the digital age matures, content moderation remains, I think, really an evergreen concern every company is kind of looking at right now. I think striking the perfect balance between free expression and also public safety continues to be quite difficult for a lot of companies and corporations. Even the biggest names in tech are obviously grappling with this. Some of them, admittedly are doing a poor job. Some of them may be better than others. But in any case, people are giving these things criticism from both sides. It's kind of like in America anyways. I don't know how this is in the rest of the world, but in America, it's definitely become kind of like a political issue, right? It would appear that right-leaning people are saying make these things more, give them more free speech and leniency. It would appear that progressives and left-leaning people are saying, make sure that these things are a little bit stricter and better at identifying biases and whatnot. So there's definitely different perspectives on this, and people are criticizing it from both sides for different reasons. But amid evolving regulations and increased social scrutiny, one startup believes that it can reinvent the wheel by focusing on video content in this space specifically. The most complex of them all, I would say, is probably video content. This is a lot harder than text moderation that, we're seeing other players do. And so that's really where Unitary AI comes in. This is a Cambridge-based startup that has developed a multi-modular approach to simplifying the complexity of video content moderation. So today, Unitary AI announced a Series A funding round. Like I mentioned, they raised $15 million, and they're spearheaded by some leading European VC firms. They have Creandum, and they're featuring some contributions from Paladin Capital Group and Plural. So I think this new influx of capital comes at a very pivotal moment for Unitary as its business is experiencing remarkable growth. So while the company hasn't disclosed its customer list, it did confirm that its annual recurring revenue has crossed into the millions. The startup plans to allocate the new funds towards regional expansion and talent acquisition. So really just hiring and building out the team. With prior fundraising, I think that they've done totaling less than $10 million from investors, including they have the ex-Meta executive Carolyn Everson. I think this round really signifies a key moment for Unitary's scaling strategy. So given the explosive growth in the amount of data being generated, especially in the form of video, conventional moderation approaches involving human interventions have proven insignificant, right? Platforms like YouTube, Facebook, Reddit, TikTok, they produce zettabytes of video content. It's not a hyperbole to say that human moderators would be overwhelmed with all of this. Video makes up more than 80% of all online traffic right now, and I think this really is kind of underscoring the enormity of this challenge. So in an online world, there is an immense need for a technology-driven approach to identifying content that could be harmful, illegal, etc. And that is, according to Christopher Steed, who's the Chief Investment Officer at Paladin Capital Group. So although the content moderation landscape is crowded, right? They're not inventing they're not the first people to tackle this problem. So it's definitely crowded with solutions from tech giants like OpenAI, Microsoft Hive, and Amazon's Rekognition. Unitary AI asserts that existing tools miss the mark when it comes to video. So traditional models typically focus on text, audio, or images in isolation, often leading to false positives or overlooked content. I think what is something that we heard recently, the CEO, I think, Sasha Hako, who co-founded the company with their CTO, James Telowis, said, what is innovative about Unitary is that we have genuine multimodal, multimodular models. Rather than analyzing just a series of frames in order to understand the nuances and whether a video is, for example, artistic or violent, you need to be able to simulate the way a human moderator watches the video. We do that by analyzing text, sound, and visuals. So it's kind of interesting because they're looking at this from multiple different ways, right? Text, sound, visuals. And I think looking at it from all of these different perspectives can help them essentially moderate much better than something that would, for say, just read the script and tell you where the issue was, or watch the track and tell you where it is. So Unitary AI isn't kind of your run-of-the-mill startup, just based off of what I've seen. Before dedicating herself to the problem of content moderation, their CEO, which is Sasha Hako, was involved in black hole research alongside the late Stephen Hawking. And her decision to kind of focus on earthbound problems, as she calls them, I think reflects a broader change of heart in the tech industry, as it's, slowly kind of moving away from theoretical pursuits to address more immediate issues. So Tyrolos, on the other hand, brings his expertise in computer vision from Oxford, where he specialized in, quote, methods for visual understanding with less manual annotation. So I think really kind of looking at the bigger picture here, the complexities of online content and human behavior aren't just an academic pursuit. They pose real-world challenges that companies are scrambling to solve. So as, multi-modular AI research becomes increasingly prevalent, even with Meta recently alluding to its applications, Unitary sits at a fascinating kind of intersection of emerging tech and also tangible demand. Talking about this, Gemma Bloman, who's a principal at Crandom and she's also a board member, said, quote, "We first met Sasha and James 2 years ago and have been incredibly impressed. Unitary has emerged as clear early leaders in the important AI field of content safety, and we're so excited to back this exceptional team as they continue to accelerate and innovate in content classification technology." So I think in a space where challenges are, really high and the stakes are also very high, Unitary's latest funding round puts it on a very promising path. I think it kind of adds another layer to this kind of evolving narrative of AI-driven solutions attempting to tackle one of the internet's most enduring challenges, which is safe, effective content moderation, without being overbearing. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this rolls out, and definitely a company we'll follow in the future.
This episode is brought to you by Klaviyo, the platform that powers smarter digital relationships. With Klaviyo, you can activate all your customer data in real time, connect seamlessly with your customers across all channels, guide your marketing strategy with AI-powered insights, recommendations, and automated assistance, deliver experiences that feel individually designed at scale, and grow your business faster. Power smarter digital relationships with Klaviyo. Learn more at klaviyo.com/Spotify. That's KLAVIYO.com/Spotify.
This episode is brought to you by Shopify. That's the sound of switching your business to Shopify, the global commerce platform that supercharges your selling. Harness the best converting checkout and same intuitive features, trusted apps, and powerful analytics used by the world's leading brands. Stop leaving sales on the table. Discover why millions trust Shopify to build, grow, and run their business. Sign up today for your $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/tech23.
Thank you for listening to the AI Chat Podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, I'd appreciate it if you rate me wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you're looking for an innovative group of AI enthusiasts, make sure you check out our Discord channel and also our Facebook community. It's obviously a lot more interactive than a podcast, where we can actually share software tools, prompts that we're using in everyday AI. I'll leave a link for those in the description below.